This is Apollo. The Chapter 2 island is my absolute favorite Fortnite map. It's so beautiful, so interconnected, so well designed, and it's gone. It got flipped, it got blown up, it got Snoop Dogged on. Basically, it's gone, and Epic have not provided an official way to revisit legacy maps. Well, not one of reliable quality anyway. So, I remade it. Twice. Recreating Apollo was actually an incredibly fun experience. In the progression of this map, I learned so much about Unreal Engine, made new friends, and we made some genuine technical advancements. So I kinda wanted to do it again? But which chapter? Chapter 1's overplayed, Chapter 5 just barely ended, and Chapter 6 was still ongoing, and Chapter 3 is Chapter 3, so that leaves Chapter 4. Asteria. But first, this video is sponsored by Aniba. If you're looking to level up your locker without overpaying, you've gotta give Aniba a gander. This is an online marketplace where you can score awesome deals on video games, gift cards, and even DLC. And yes, that includes V-Bucks. The best part is that the prices on Aniba are often way cheaper than buying directly, and they keep offers available way after they've been taken out of the item shop. The site is super easy to use, with quick delivery, so you can jump right back into the action with your new swag. If you're ready to up your flexing game without breaking the bank, head to the description box down below to get started. Thank you to Aniba for sponsoring this video. Chapter 4 is an era of this game that means a ton to me. The first season is when I really started to take this whole YouTube thing seriously. The Unreal editor for Fortnite came out in Season 2, really boosting my creator career. I graduated high school in Season 3 and went to university in Season 4. It may not be one of the best chapters we've ever had, and certainly not the most consistent, but I really do feel a personal connection to this era of the game. Plus, as a handy bonus, this is by far the request I got the most after releasing my Apollo experience. And who am I to say no to the people? So in September 2025, I created a brand new project and got to work. Recreating Asteria was a much easier experience for quite a few reasons. The general process is the same, but this chapter is more recent, it runs on the same Unreal Engine version that Fortnite does today, and a lot of the assets have been added into the creator toolset over the years. Some during the development of this project actually, that was handy. The season I chose for this remake is Chapter 4 Season 1. This is by far my favorite iteration of this map. I think it's got the best gameplay and visuals of the entire chapter, plus it has 40 splits, and 40 splits is awesome. Huge shout out to Ryan the RVT for porting the Chapter 4 Season 1 skybox, giving this project starrier skies and fluffier clouds than ever before. The difference might be a little hard to spot at first, but it is indeed different and more accurate at that. Honestly, the most challenging part of this project was porting over the assets and tile sets that haven't officially been added yet, such as Frenzy Fields. For example, something as simple as a barn or a fence might come in with missing materials, broken collision, or just completely wrong scaling. So instead of just dragging and dropping assets in, it became this process of rebuilding them piece by piece, testing how they looked from a distance and making sure they actually felt right in the gameplay. Oh, and you're a ghost. That said, there is one handy thing that I can do now. Because UEFN actually released early into Chapter 4, with a little bit of Tom Moddery, if you still have an older build saved, you can actually go into the level files themselves and directly grab what you need. Of course, that's not going to give me everything I need. The POIs are going to be pretty broken until I grab the assets I need and get them ported. Thankfully, these days there are incredible resources for this, such as the website FortForge, where people have been uploading and sharing their stuff to help out. This straight up didn't exist back when I made Apollo late game, and don't worry, I contributed to thank them. But once I had the assets, I still had to fix everything up, which took a fair bit of time. I consulted the wiki for additional shots for reference so I could piece the POIs back together like a puzzle, like a jigsaw. In some spots, like here in 40 splits, I had to think about how this graffiti will come together, and that took a fair bit of time. And then there's always that balance between accuracy and playability. You can make everything look perfect, but if it doesn't play well, people won't stick around. So sometimes I had to intentionally deviate from the source material to make it play better. However, not having to build the POIs completely from scratch did save a lot of time, and was something I simply could not do with Chapter 2, as until the release of the the remix season, there wasn't a build of Fortnite Chapter 2 that had public UEFN support. Now by doing this, I was able to get the Citadel, Brutal Bastion, Lonely Labs, Frenzy Fields, Anvil Square, Breakwater Bay, Slappy Shores, and of course the lovely Faulty Splits, on top of a bunch of really cool landmarks across the map. Oh, and I came up with a neat solution for those who do like stuff from the later seasons. Rather than neglecting to include them entirely, I came up with a more creative solution by actually integrating them into the Season 1 landscape. This took quite some time to do, and I did have to take some creative liberties here, but I'm really happy with how they came out. It's like an alternate what if. I did this with Kinjitsu Crossing and Steamy Springs from the Mega biome, and Shady Stilts from the Wilds biome, all of which made for some really cool additions to the world. In terms of gameplay, now that's where the innovations over Apollo really come in. For the relaunch of Apollo late game in February 2025, I introduced the concept of a heat game. Essentially, this is an infinite late game with rotating zones, basically solving the biggest issue I found with the original launch, which was that people who joined late or died early had to wait up to several minutes to play again, which could get boring. So when you die, you just respawn, with a brand new loadout to drop back in and play more. This can create a real sense of rivalries evolving throughout the match. Little 1v1s form amongst the chaos as people try to one-up the last kill. It's a really fun experience. It also completely changes the pacing. Instead of one intense match and then downtime, it becomes this constant loop of energy and action, where every life is another chance to do better than the last. To add on to this, we added something to this project called the Elim streak. This was something we actually planned for Apollo's relaunch, but just couldn't get it quite right. But with some tinkering, we got it working, and here it is in full force. Hit 5 Elims in a row for a quirky fanfare and some VFX made by the incredible folks over at Somni. We did toy with instant respawns as well in the Apollo relaunch, but I decided to omit that from Asteria as we found that instant respawning can lead to a sense of overwhelming gameplay with the literal non-stop action. A tiny bit of downtime is good for the soul. So what took so long? Why did this project take so damn long to release? Well, UEFN as usual is a big fan of impeding development, so in November they introduced this nifty little bug called the out of memory cook error. Basically, if your map has too much content in it, the servers will straight up just give up. So you can't do edit sessions to work on the map, you can't do playtests to play the map, and you certainly can't publish the map. But on the few occasions I was able to squeeze a private version through the cooker, we had a ton of fun playtesting this map. It really gave me a new appreciation for just how insane some of Chapter 4's loot pools are. There's some real bullshit in here, but it makes for a fun and chaotic experience. I had so much fun playing this map when it finally dropped, and I hope that you'll have as much fun as I did. The videos, the clips, the memes, and the shared moments coming out of this map, they made it all worth it. So, thank you. This project, just like Apollo before it, is above all else about taking something you love, learning everything you can about it, and making it your own. And when it all falls apart, building it again. This time the game meant a lot to me, and I wanted to do it justice. I'm happy with what we have here. Chapter 4 is one of those rare points where the game and real life kind of overlapped for me. Logging on after classes, working on videos late into the night, learning UEFN at the same time as Epic was figuring it out for themselves. It all sort of blended together in 2023. So rebuilding this chapter wasn't just about the map itself, it was about revisiting that entire period of my life, if that makes any sense. And honestly, this probably won't be the last time I do something like this. Every project teaches me something new, and there's still so much of this game's history left to explore. Every time I do a project like this, it is a love letter to an era of this game that is constantly changing. And may it never stop changing. Where am I boarding the battle bus to next? Only time will tell. Spoiler alert, it's not Chapter 5.
Happy Easter, Xbox.